Hey guys, it's Olivia. So today I'm going to give you tips on how to convince your parents to let you do the Disney College program. Now this video is not about manipulation. I'm not telling you to undermine your parents or disrespect them or any way. This is not intended to manipulate them or anything like that. These are just some tips that I know personally from my parents. If I kind of want them to get on board with something, then I need to do these different steps. Now, some of you might have already applied, gotten accepted, and are trying to get your parents on board, but this first tip is for those of you whose application process is still in the distant future. So my first tip is to mention it early and mention it repeatedly. Personally, I first started watching DCP vloggers when the first girl I watched, she did the spring program, so the end of my junior year and first half of my senior year. So around that time, I started telling my parents, oh, I watch this girl on YouTube. There's this really cool program. She's a character. I think that'd be really fun to do in college. Just so it kind of, it was a thing, but I wasn't trying to hardcore convince them yet. Then in freshman year, I was like, oh, I'm watching this girl. She does this. I think this is something I'd like to do in college. They're like, okay. Just, it just needs to sink in their mind just so it's familiar, just so it's not out of the blue. Yo, I want to go to Disney World for 5 months and not do school. As it gets closer, you also want to start letting them know kind of when you're thinking about doing it. So for my parents, it didn't really get real until, my sophomore year. I was like, hey, I know I have to take a language this year, but I would like to apply for fall of next year for Florida. And by the way, my dad even realized that that I want to do the Florida program, not the California program, I think until after I applied. So you just make sure they get it, because I know I said it a billion times, but sometimes for them, they just, sometimes you hear what you want to hear. So just make sure you clarify everything. Second tip is to get the details. Now, your parents are going to want details at different points. Personally, for me, they wanted the details before I even applied for it. For some of you, your parents might not really want to know anything until they know you get accepted, or at least you're into the application process. So for details, I mean, what time of year you want to do it? How is missing school going to work? Will you be taking classes during that time? Does school give you credit? Is your school going to kick you out if you leave for a semester? Tell them the details about the different roles that they have at Disney, about how you're going to have housing at Disney and the transportation and all of those things. Just make sure you have all the details, because if your parents are like mine, they're just going to send you, give you 10 billion questions right in a row, and you want to have all the answers back to those. The third thing that I hope really kind of helps convince parents, and especially if you have maybe already are in the process or have gotten accepted already, is let them know how this will help your future. For example, I was a character performer. Am I gonna go be in entertainment and a performer for the rest of my life? No, I actually want to go get a PhD and be a management consultant and then a professor. So how did doing the Disney College program help me? How did working at a theme park 3,000 miles away help my goals in that? Well, for me, I think there's no better place to learn about corporate culture, management, employee relations than one of the most successful entertainment companies in the world. And personally, through my role of entertainment, I was global, so I worked in all 4 different parks. I worked in a ton of different settings. I got to see the different corporate cultures of Magic Kingdom versus DAC versus Epcot versus Hollywood Studios. They all have different vibes. So that's personally how it helped me. If you want to go into anything with management, human resources, communication, hospitality management, those are all good things. Maybe you know a second language, and when you're at Disney, you can actually get tested, and on your PIN, if you're fluent in another language, it'll have it on there, so you can help interact with guests who don't speak English very well. So maybe you know German, Russian, Swahili, whatever. Even if the only reason you want to do the program is to go on rides whenever you want, make sure to come up with an actual professional, how this will help me long-term reason, because that will help the adults in your life process this better. Another thing to try to convince them is let them know what benefits they will get by you doing the program. Personally, for me, while I was on the Disney College program, my parents did not have to pay for me at all, other than health insurance, cell phone, things like that. But I was paying for my own rent, I was paying for my own food, my own transportation. They did not have to send any money my way for 5 months. So maybe that's an incentive to them. Also, when you work for Disney, you do get cast member benefits. So for example, during the holidays, we got up to 60% off on hotel rooms, merchandise discounts. So when my mom came and visited me for a week, I had worked enough hours to earn all of her tickets, so she didn't have to pay for any of her admissions to the park. The hotel, we got, 50 or 60% off. I had a bunch of coupons since it was the holidays. I had a bunch of coupons for snacks and food. So we barely paid any money for any of those things. So basically she just had to pay for her plane ticket and the rest was provided. So maybe that's an incentive for your family. Let them know that they can get basically a free Disney vacation out of it. Last, tell them any other reasons you have. For me, I was really burnt out with school. I did not want to go back. I still had really big plans for my future. I just needed a break and I needed something that was just really, really fun. Maybe your other reason for doing it is you just need an internship for your degree, and instead of working somewhere local or in a very like corporate setting, you want to go work for Disney. And honestly, I have not applied for jobs or anything yet, but I am part of the Disney Alumni Association, and on our Facebook group, there are multiple people who have said that the reason they've gotten interviews for jobs is not because of the special internship that they did or the special whatever degree. Okay, not saying degrees don't matter, but it wasn't because of special certification that they had. It was because of their Disney experience, and the employers wanted to learn more about that. Other than that, all you can do is apply and hope for the best, and hopefully you can get your parents on board. Unfortunately, I know there are some of you whose parents, like in the page, there were literally people whose parents were saying that they were gonna like disown them if they went to do the Disney College program. Some people have said that their fiancés would break up with them or their boyfriends would break up with them. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's up to you. If your parent really feels that strongly about it, like I don't know what your relationship is like, so I'm not gonna give any advice about that. But do what you think is best for you. It was best for me, and my parents thankfully were on board with it. But I don't know everyone's is, so hopefully these tips can kind of help you try to convince them or help them just at least be more okay with the situation. So let me know how these tips work out. Hopefully they're helpful, and hopefully no parents get mad about this. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Give it a big thumbs up, comment below, whatever. Subscribe to my channel, like always. And please keep dreaming out loud. Have an awesome day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.